All right, back at it. Didn't talk about it much before, but this is obviously been engine swapped with a 318. It's an older engine, more torque, etc. And I believe this one originally had an inline six, but I haven't looked at the um, original specifications for this vehicle just yet. So of course I sheared off the UV joint. I was a little worried about the suspension and the way this thing feels when I drove it, and it looks like it may be the factory rear end. And this section of the yoke exiting the transfer case here, it's a double yoke. It looks okay, pretty thick metal. This could probably be thicker, and it sheared off no problem. So I'm thinking, and of course the damage from the drive shaft there, but there was already some damage here, so it's happened before. I'm thinking they left this as the weakest link, either for a reason or they didn't know what they were doing. And ideally, I mean, they kind of are supposed to be, but it needs to be stronger than what it is, because I'm not able to really get on it like I should be able to. So I went out, got some replacement parts, about the highest quality thing that the auto parts store carries anyway, with the bolts and everything, and new straps. And we're going to try that out, because I don't think that what they had in here was very substantial. And before I start tearing into this thing, I need to drive it a little bit, and I want to drive the hell out of it, because I want to see what's going to break on it, what I need to work on. Like, for example, look at this rear control arm, and look at all the gap in there and the bushings, and there's like none right here. So, and there's really no shocks back here in the rear. They have this stabilizer bar, kind of like a sway bar, and solid rear control arm, big ass spring because it's been lifted, and this shock back here is the exhaust is wrapping in between it and the spring, which means you're going to be heating up your shock unnecessarily. I kind of want to add a second shock in here. I don't know if I'm going to put something here, if the travel is right on it, just to kind of soften it a little bit, because it rides rough. And get all new rubbers, maybe a bigger sway bar. I'm going to pull out this rear control arm and paint it, and put in new bushings and inspect everything. And definitely putting in a drive shaft loop, and probably fabricate a custom shield here that can take a hit, straighten back out the floor pan, deal with all these leaks and shit. Looks like the rear end is leaking here. Front drive shaft is pretty straight. It looks pretty good. Not a crazy angle on that. I'd say they did a half decent job with this engine swap, but they kind of made this manual transmission work, and I'm having to put my knuckles into the dash when I shift into first. Also, I don't like these lighter weight rear control arms here. They're not front control arms here. They're not like the ones on the rear. These are going to have more flex and stuff in them, which, depending on your application, can be a good thing. But I think what I want a very solid setup. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of bouncing and mud bogging in this thing, which is maybe what they were doing, because it's not rusted out. Everything's in good shape, but like the the on the ceiling it says, I mean on the windshield it says mud hopper or hole hopper or something like that. So I'm assuming that's what they were doing with it. I'd say these front rotors are also undersized for the weight of this vehicle, especially with the larger engine in it. That big cast iron block adds a lot of extra weight. When we start putting beefier parts on here, I mean, it's going to gain 1,000 pounds over stock easily, with the engine swap they have and everything, and larger drive shafts and everything else. So I think it'd be good to upgrade a lot of different things, to get rid of these drum brakes back here as well. But for now, I'm going to drill out this, hopefully without any problem, drill out these two sheared off bolts, get this UV joint back in here, and give it another drive. sometimes you can get these from the back side too, because the back of your bolt has like, on these, they have like a landing where there's a lip all the way around where they did threading and stuff. Sometimes you can go in from the back with a drill bit, and it's easier to keep it straight. You drill straight, and then you come in back from like with a punch or a pick or something, or even a really small flathead, and you can, once you drill a hole, you push it into the hole a little bit and you just start turning, and you basically walk it out. You screw it out with the from the rear if I need to. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this yoke because I don't feel like fooling with it anymore, and it's starting to rain under here. All right, so I got the yoke pulled, got on the vise. By the way, this is one of my other garages I'm working on. This is a detached garage from the house. Working on building shelves and getting it organized and stuff. I have a office in here that I was using before. Nice and remodeled in here already. Just got some junk I gotta go through. Out here we're gonna have, of course I'm gonna finish these walls and stuff. We'll have a leather couch set up in here. TV right here. Got my wood burning stove for the garage. It works pretty good. This is gonna be my wife's office. Kinda has its own second door too. Little windows. You know, do some arts and crafts, whatever she does in there, books, reading books. And got a little HVAC system. I may put in a split air later, but honestly, if I'm in a garage, I'm usually sweating and working on something, so it ain't a big deal. Mainly wanted the climate control for like this room and my wife's next room once we get it done. But yeah, we'll have it where we can pull a car in here, have all our mechanical toolboxes and stuff on this side. I'll have my wire spools right here with this organizer, and then we'll have a TV there and a little sitting area over here. Idea being, pull a car in, you know, you can kind of wrench on it. We want to take a break, sit down right there, have a drink, watch the TV, take a break, whatever. This whole workbench is going to be for anything and everything I want to work on and get dirty on. It's just an old, sturdy, like wood / metal door. Something that you can beat on, not really worry about. The old original cabinet that was in here, pulled it away from the wall. I'll make like an island workbench here. Right here, I don't think it's going to be a walking path. What we're going to do is we're going to stand this cabinet up. Might paint it at some point, but I'm not too worried about it. It's going to fit right here. I'm going to either put some wood in here or drywall this. And I'm not too worried about closing that one in, other than protecting the drywall on this side, not poke a hole in the wall. Idea being, this is just a little walk path. And it goes straight to the door. Easy to come in. We'll have this white shelf right there against that wall. I have a camera in here. It's just to keep an eye on things in case somebody tries to steal something, but don't really have to worry about that too much here. So probably put in some interior cameras and stuff. The original electric, I've already kind of backfed it a little bit because the underground wire had it short. Just temporary to run the shop lights, nothing major. And I'll dig in a new trench to go to the other sub panel and bring some power in here so I can run a welder. I'll probably have a 220 connection for the welder right off of the panel. It's going to be in that corner instead, because why they would have it all the way over here on this side when that side's physically closer to the main panel is, your guess is good as mine, but that's what they decided to do. They even went under the concrete when they ran the electrical. It's kind of stupid in my opinion, because right outside this door here, bam, and the electrical's right there on the other side of that wall. So they could have easily ran it right on that side through the dirt and put down proper conduit and stuff, instead of just burying it beside the garage and going underneath the pad after they, and then pouring over it. And so it didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. So back at it with this yoke. By the way, if you're the kind of person that talks to yourself while you work, you'll find it's actually pretty easy to do like vlog style videos and stuff, because a lot of what you would be saying, you're saying in your head already. And it might sound crazy, but that's how a lot of us work. That's how we get stuff done, because we kind of think about it by talking in our head and working through things. I know that not everybody does that, but it works for me. So I'm gonna try and get these out from the back like I was talking about. Can't do this with all of them. Some of them don't even have an opening in the rear, like it isn't threaded all the way through, and it's just solid back here. But this one does, so clean these out a little bit, and then I'm gonna try and drill from the rear. Well, first I might try to unscrew them from the rear. It's this one and that one, so luckily not all of them sheared off. It was just two, one on each side, of course, probably in the direction of the torque. So this one and this one, mark that. See if I can't find something to unscrew it from the rear. Maybe something abrasive enough or small enough to catch in there, like a flat head. I also can't remember if these are reverse thread or not, which I wouldn't even know on this vehicle because I've never even had a Jeep before. I've wrenched on them, but I hadn't owned one myself. Like, I want to salvage this and use it until I get a better setup, but it'd be nice if I could just go ahead and replace it. But you know, it's not like you can go out and buy this stuff in the stores. For the most part, I don't know of any off-roading store that would make any sense to go buy some stuff from in this area. And I would like to be able to move this thing eventually. It's not moving, but I don't have the best tool. Alright, I'm gonna go get the easy out. Alright. There we go. Now we're talking. That came right out. I'm gonna flip this around only so you can see a little better when I do the next one. It comes out as easy as that one did. But where'd it go? Here it is. Right there. You can see where I wasn't on center in the front, but I was in the back. And that's what I was talking about when you drill them from the back. I could have gone more and then tapped in that easy out because that would have worked. But this, you know, they moved a little bit, so there we go. Bam. So I drilled in a little bit with a smaller bit and then hit it with the larger bit, and the larger bit caught it and actually spun it. If it didn't spin it, I would have to keep drilling, and then I would tap in an easy out and get it out that way. I might have gone too big on the easy out. Really, I picked it out not by the size but on paper, but by how it looked versus the bolt that I had on hand. So that's on me too. All right, let's get this back on the Jeep. I'll be able to do this one-handed. Let's see what we got here. And the mess, spring cleaning. Looks good. One of those cars that looks good from a distance. It looks pretty good up close, but like if you really know what you're looking at and you start taking a close look at things, there's some stuff that's loose and not ideal. Could have been done differently, and we're gonna fix that. All right. And try to be cost effective at the same time. Not always an easy thing to do. Get this angled up here. And the yoke, it was a 1 1/8 inch. And this is a 96 Jeep Wrangler. And looking at that seal, it's a little hard. I think it's supposed to be softer than that. And looking at the race, hell, even the race is worn on this yoke. It's not even supposed to be worn that much. That shows you how many miles is on that thing. If the daggone rubber is wearing down the groove into the metal over time, then it's either the wrong seal or it's been ran way too long. Because you're not going to make a proper seal most of the time if that race wears down, because it's not going to match the circumference of the seal, the rear end seal. And by the way, I mean, let's look at this. There's a drip. Everything's dripping on this car. I just pulled that off of the bottom of the hog head there, so it's probably leaking anyway. I'm curious about these straps. I wanted to compare the new to the old. These look pretty similar, unfortunately. You can kind of see that look these have about them. I know they do that for a reason, and this is Moog too, but I guess this just feels undersized because I know how much torque we're dealing with here. 318 ain't no, like, you know, amazing badass engine or anything, but I mean, it's an old school engine with a lot of torque. It used to be put in everything from RVs to a 65 Fury, which I have in my front yard. So it's a heavier car, more torque, maybe not necessarily more horsepower. It may not rev as high, but it has more low end torque, and that's where all your wear parts get the most damage, is in those high torque scenarios, like when I was shifting and banging into second and all that torque hit this rear end. Instead of catching these big grippy ass tires and spinning them, it locked up, and then that resistance, of course, the cheap UV joint couldn't hold up to that. And this new one may not either, because again, this is all sized and engineered around that straight six that used to be in here, or whatever engine, one of the two. It was a 4.0 and a 2 point something, so neither one of them were as good, or needed to be as good as whatever needs to be in this thing. I wanted to show you the old one, but I think I've set it somewhere else. Let me position this camera differently. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. So, got our yoke here. Normally I would clean this up and everything, but this yoke even has gotten some damage from smacking stuff. I'm just going to get this on here and deal with that stuff later. So for now, I'm going to pull one of the caps off. Usually when you do this, you want to kind of keep the cap up and make sure all the needle bearings that are in there stay together. And set that off to the side. You want to try not to bang anything against this race right here while you're putting it in. Don't want to scar it up or get any debris in there, because it's going to wear the bearing if I do. So let's just be easy. This one ain't going to go in that way. I might have to do the cap first, looks like. I had to take both caps off. Push this one in a little bit. Like so. And then try to get it in there. It may not have the best camera angle here. And it took a lot longer than what I'd like to admit. So basically, with one side's good, the other side being marred right here or bent in, you can't put the cap in from the rear. What I ended up doing was I put that cap in from the front, put the other one in from the rear, and then got it in there. Now I just got to push them in a little more and then put the retaining clip. All right, she's in. This yoke is also wore the hell out. It needs some grease or to be replaced. I don't really like it. It's all beat up and it doesn't slide very good. It's just unnecessary friction.